Well, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Juliette and I will be your host. Please note that we cannot hear you as you are all muted. If you have any question, I would ask you to use the chat window during the presentation and we will address any questions sent in and have an open Q&A afterwards. Okay, let's get started. The theme of this webinar is quick tour of GSX usage metrics. And now with that, let me introduce my colleague, Jean-François Piot.
Hello, Juliette. Thank you. So thank you, everybody, for being here at this webinar. So I will try to now share my desktop. Juliette, can you? Yes, thank you. So let me share my desktop. So the purpose of this webinar, is to speak about the new module of GSX Monitor, GSX usage metric. So we will speak about the philosophy of this module, and then we will make a small demo, of course, of the module, and to show how the usage metric statistics are integrated into Analyzer, and then into the suite, GSX Monitor and Analyzer and usage metric. And we'll make a quick recap of the benefit of the product. And so let's start. Maybe for those who don't know me, my name is Jean-François Piot. I'm working at GSX since 2008. I worked before at IBM where I was sales, so I sell hardware and services. And I started at GSX in the sales department, and being sales made me meet a lot of our customers. And I had to face one question very, very often. And this question was how come GSX is not able to report on user activity at the user level? Because we were reporting on Mailflow, on BlackBerry user, Traveler, and so on, but never on Domino user. So finally, we decided to help our customer doing this kind of report on user, and that's how we came with the GSX usage metric model. So very quickly, for people who don't know us, GSX is now a 16-year-old company. So we monitor and report on messaging environment, especially on Lotus One, as our main tool, GSX Monitor and Analyzer, is able to report and monitor and report on Lotus Domino, Quicker, Traveler, etc. So now the last things we showed at Connect was how we were Domino 9 ready. So let's have this small agenda. So we check the key features, of course, of the usage metric and its philosophy, a live demo, the benefit, and of course we can speak about the pricing. So usage metric definition. So what is usage metric? So as maybe you already understand, usage metric is a module of GSX Monitor, and it works only with GSX Monitor and Analyzer. Okay, you cannot buy this module standalone. You have to have GSX Monitor and Analyzer because the statistics are sent into Analyzer in order to make reporting at the custom group level. So it can be installed on the same virtual machine or on another one. We really recommend installing it on another virtual machine, especially if you have to deal with multiple NAB and if usage metric have to connect to your server with multiple ID. In this case, having monitor on one virtual machine and usage metric on another one would be really, really better. So usage metric is a web application. We will see that in a minute. This web application synchronizes, so we make a synchronization with the NAB in order to import information about the user you want to track. After that, once it's synchronized, GSX usage metric will scan your log and your server in order to retrieve user activity and user information. So we will find the information in the log, and we will find the information as well directly on the mailbox server. So why we did that module, as I told you in my introduction, it's now a year that some big customers ask us for usage statistics, and it was for multiple purposes. It was for billing and cross-charging in huge environments. It was, for example, for some department like human resources that want to check how the messaging environment is used inside the company, or it was as well for IT administration that ask us for capacity planning purposes. So we spend a lot of time with them to understand exactly what they really want, and we are now launching this V1. So keep in mind it's a V1. It means that we first wanted to focus on to build an engine that is able to scan the log and the mailbox server that really works and gives accurate statistics. Now that we have the engine, we will be able to add a lot of other statistics. So in this V1, we have a very limited number of statistics that are available. But of course, as you know, with GSX Monitor, we are improving our product every month, every year, and then other statistics will come. So a special offer that I want to share with you is for this launch of the ERC version of GSX usage metric. So GSX is doing a special offer. So it's the 500 first, your 500 first user will be free if you install the product before the end of March. So, quick introduction on usage metrics. As you know, we already manage the service quality through the multiple tests we do at the database level, at the server level, at the cluster level. And now we extend this management to the usage of the messaging environment. So in usage metric, everything is really flexible. Okay, you define your own organization and your own custom group based on any NAP field. We will see that in a minute in the product. You can ever create groups with tags that you want to create manually. For example, if you want to create a tag VIP and you don't have a tag VIP in your lab, you will be able to create that in usage metric and to import your user in this tag and to report on this particular tag. So it's really flexible. It's flexible in the scope of the user you want to check, so you are not forced to import all your user and to pay for all your user. You can really select the user or the group of user you want to import and you want to pay for, of course. And it's flexible in the reporting. We will see that in Analyzer. It's flexible because you can really give access to the reporting and to the group of user you want to monitor to any person in the company. So it means that if you want, you can also give a kind of self-service reporting tool that is good for administrator, but that can be good for human resource, that can be good for any other purpose in the company. So now that we have seen quickly this the first feature and the first philosophy of usage metric, to be a module, to work with monitor and analyzer, to be flexible in how you import your user and how you report on your user. So let's check a very quick demo of the product, and then we'll make a small recap of the different benefits you can have with usage metric. So let's go in usage metric. So as you can see, and as I just told you, it's really a web application. It looks like a bit like GSX Analyzer for people maybe who know GSX Analyzer. And so you can access it. It's kind of the same philosophy. You can access it with different profile. So admin, super admin profile, etc. And of course, from any browser. So the purpose of the UM module is really to define the scope of user you want to follow. How you want to group them, if you want to schedule statistics retrieval interval, for example, and if you want to select different thresholds for inactive user and so on. We will see that. And then Analyzer, of course, report on everything. So the first tab we show here show the statistics at the user level. For each user, so we can see here Luisa, for example, for each user, if we click on the user, we will see the different statistics. So this particular user sent today, so it was not today here, it was my database is frozen, but of course it will be daily or weekly or monthly. So here this day, this user sent this number of email, received this number of email. You have the size of the email sent, the size of the email received, the total mailbox size, and the activity status. The activity status will be, is it an active user or is it an inactive user? We will see what it means just after. So you can, in the case where you have multiple messaging environments, for example, if you have Domino and Exchange or Domino and BlackBerry, you can have you can draw a kind of pie. So in this case, this user has only Domino, so the pie is full. But so the pie is here to show you how are used the different messaging environment inside the company. So if you are in a migration and you want to see how I don't know, for example, Domino and Exchange, you want to see how Exchange is used compared to Domino, or if you have Domino and BlackBerry and you want to see that, etc., etc. Of course, here you have directly access to the daily, weekly, monthly statistics, user per user. Okay? So here in this view, you can see the organization, which belongs, so Louisa Sigur, for example, the tags that have been defined to group her for the reporting. We will see that after. First name, last name, short name, email address. For these different, so here, and we see the Domino platform. And you have access to Exchange platform and BlackBerry platform, but today we will focus on Domino. So if we go now on statistics on this tab, and if we make a search, it will retrieve here. We have not selected any tag, so it will give all the information inside the organization that you can choose here. So here you will see the total number for all the users in this organization of the email sent, the email received, the size, etc., etc. So, for example, here you see the pie. You have a large part of Domino and a small part of Exchange, for example. If I click on the total number here, I will see directly all my users and my number of email sent. And if I click on number of email sent, I will be able to sort my user by the number of mails that have been sent in this case. So you will see directly here your top user. GSX Monitor is the top user of my company. It's normal. So here you will see the top user, and you can do that, of course, with every statistics. So here, of course, it's easier. So Sébastien is the one that uses Exchange the most, etc., etc. So it's very, very simple. If I come back here on user, we will, for the moment, so it is the V1 in the, let's say, V1.1, we will add an automatic export to CSV. So you will be able to export automatically the list of all your users, and we will add directly here the number of emails sent, email received, etc., etc. The purpose for you is to have an Excel file, and you can do whatever you want with this Excel file in order to sort your user, to deal with statistics, and so on. Because here, the usage metrics really display the statistics at the user level, okay? In Analyzer, we will see that it displays the statistics at the custom group level, so it's a bit different. So here we have different tab. I will go very quick on it. So association is the tab to see which snap fields have been chosen to group the user and to modify them. So here, if I click, I can see the organization. I can see the different tags that have been selected. Import user is to import manually some user, something that you will maybe never do, as most of you will import automatically and tag automatically all of your users. But as it's flexible, you can decide to do that if you want. So user stats will go, it's the same that double click on the user. You can delete the user, or you can see the not identifier of the user. Statistics we have seen, and now we can go on the tab synchronization. So the synchronization tab is just here to show you if you have some problem during the synchronization between the tool and your NAB. And if there is any problem of synchronization of a user, of anything, then you will get an alert, and you will have all the reports here in order to work on it. So the last one is a bit the same. So the last one is the conflict report. we will see that in a minute, that you can define as many organizations as you want into GSX usage metric. An organization is just a group of users you want to report independently. It can be a subsidiary, it can be any group of users. The thing is that if you have one user that is part of multiple groups that you have defined, and if you want to add the number of mail of each group, if you have one user in multiple groups, at the end the total number of mail of all the group will be wrong. So one user is part of one organization that you define. And if you have a conflict, GSX usage metric which will show you the conflict, and you will be able to resolve the conflict. Last point on statistics, I just remember that I forget it. Here we have seen the total number of mail for one organization, but if you want, you can extract a subset of the organization and see only, for example, the total number of mail sent, received, the size, etc., of a value of any NAB field that you have chosen to categorize your user. So if I want to only check the Villeneuve-Loubet, I click on Villeneuve-Loubet, I make a search, and as I'm not really connected, I will get I have some mail. Okay, so I have some people in Villeneuve-Loubet that are using Exchange, for example. So now let's see how to organize the user and how to synchronize the GSX usage metric module with your NAB and so on. So you go on setting. It's a bit like the setting part of Analyzer. It's organized the same way. So you have user accounts. Here you will define which different user profiles. So people that can access to the tool, or people that can only read and write, etc., etc. In the category, you will define how GSX usage metric will synchronize and with which NAB GSX usage metric will synchronize. So you just click on, for example, Domino, and then if you double click on, or if you click on Edit, it should work normally. Okay, so you define the name of the server, the database name, and GSX with this credential will be able to, and the ID, of course, an ID that has the right. So GSX will be able to go on the NAB and make a full synchronization. We'll be able to connect on the NAB and to synchronize with what you want on the NAB. Then you need to define which user you want to import. So here in the organization, you can create a new organization. So when you create an organization, you give a name, and then you give a directory. So here, here you can give a directory, for example, this one, and then, so it's not working on my demo version for the moment, but it's working for you, so I will explain. Here, clicking on Edit Filter will show you all the NAB, okay, all the NAB field, and then you will be able to import only the user, if you want, to import only the user that have a certain value in the NAB. For example, you don't want to monitor your 10,000 users, you want only to monitor the users that are located in New York and that are part of the sales. So here you will be able to define, to check on the NAB, the different tags you have on the NAB, and only to import the user from New York that are part from the sales department. And then you will be able to monitor them in this organization. And if you only want to monitor them, you will only have to import them, and you will only pay for them. So you are not forced to import everybody in the company only because you have a small part of the organization that you want to monitor. Here you can really focus your monitoring only on a category of user that you want to monitor. So this is here we create organization. Here we will see all the tags that you have chosen to categorize your user. Actually, here in this tab, you see the different tags. So, for example, here in GSX, you have the city, and this is the value of the tab. You have the different departments, and this is the value of the tab, the location, and a tab test that does not exist in the NAB. because you can create your own tag to categorize your user if you want. So it is the example of the VIP tag. So you can manually add a tag, create a tag, and so you just have to put a tag name, and then you will be able to categorize your user, for example, VIP and so on, in this tab, and to make reporting specifically on this user. So profile will show you different profiles that have the right to access. User inactivity, here you will define what is an inactive user, because maybe you want to report on inactive user. It was a request from some of our customers, because maybe you want to migrate to the cloud, for example, to smart cloud, or maybe you want to have an hybrid environment. So you want to have, let's say, the heavy user on premise, and you want to have all the other user or on the smart cloud or on the cloud. And here you will be able to fine tune what is an inactive user, for example. And if you make a migration to see, okay, all of these users that are inactive, maybe I don't have to migrate them. So it will optimize. It will optimize your, let's say, your cost, because you will be able to really check who is using what and who is not using the messaging environment. So it can be different things for Domino, for Exchange, for BlackBerry, and so on. So here in automatic tagging, if I click here you will define, so in the nav, what tag you want to categorize your user, the user that you have imported. So what tags you want to categorize them and to report on them. So for example, if I want to add a new one, so I check for an organization, and then here this is my nav. And this is all the field I have in my nav. So if I want to sort the user I have imported by same time server, I can do that. Dynamic creation is here to show you that it will be dynamically allocated to user, and then in Analyzer you will be able to report automatically on this particular tab. You can report on any field that you have in the app. So it's really flexible. Okay. Most of the other tools only give you the possibility to report on, let's say, 10 app fields that are always the same. Here you really choose what you want. And then the last one is to tell GSX usage metric how often you want to make synchronization, and that's all. So we have seen here different things. We have seen here in usage metric that you can see the results of the scan. How many mail are sent, how many mail are received, the size, the inactive user, and so on. We have seen here that how you import the user, how you can select only the user you want to be monitored. And then we have seen at the end how you want to report on user. What are the map fields that you want to use in order to group the user and in order to make the reporting on your user. So let's go on the reporting part. So this is GSX Analyzer. Most of you already know GSX Analyzer. So there is always the same dashboard, there is the alert, there is the statistics, there is the report for the log of all the environment, there is the trend report, environment health. If we came to only to usage metric, so the purpose of Analyzer would be to show you the metric. So to show you the metric at the custom group level. So here, for example, it is a report by department on one particular location, Villeneuve-Loubet, and to see on this particular location the number of mail that have been sent, received, the size, etc., etc., in the development, in the IT department, in the finance, support, Q&A, etc., etc. So it's really, if you want to see other things, it's really simple. So here you have an organization sales, and of course you have the location, the department is always the same, and you see, okay, the sales from Newcastle send this mail. The sales from Geneva are a bit better. The sales from, but there are more. The sales from Buffalo etc., etc. So here you see the reports, and you can automatically extract them in CSV or in PDF. Okay, most of you will prefer this view. So this view is the trend view, and of course the forecasting view, so it's working as well. So all the features of GSX Analyzer are working with usage metric. So here in this view, you will be able to see and to compare the different statistics of the different category of user that you have selected. So here, the report I show you, so let's take one, for example, this one. So the report here is comparison of one statistic over time. So it was the size of the email sent, for example, here. And here I have decided to compare this particular statistics and to compare it with the different in a specific location and with the different department as we have seen in the statistics. So if I want to compare the development and the IT, it's very simple. I click and I see. Okay? So it's the way to use GSX Analyzer is always simple. You just click, drag and drop, and you can compare all the statistics of your user regarding the different NAP field that you have selected. So it's really easy. If you take the summary of statistics over time, here you will add. So you take the statistics you want, and it will add all the different locations, the different category that you have selected. And here you can see a report for the size of the email for all the category I have selected. So in Analyzer, you see two different things. You can add different group of user and see the stats, or you can compare different group of user and of course see the stats. It's very simple. And to make a report, it's always the same. You just click. Now you can see that in Analyzer you have two different tabs. So you click on usage metric. You select the type of trend. So as we have seen, so the summary of the comparison. So let's make a summary, for example, which station you want. So it's really simple. And here, so let's take GSX, for example. And here you will see, okay, I want to see here you select the different category. So I want to see a report on usage metric where the department, for example, equal the finance. And I can add another criteria where the location, for example, is Villeneuve-Loubet. I have only one. So here, the first here category is one of all the tags we have selected here. You remember the different tags that we have seen here. Here it is all the tags you have in order to group your user. Okay, and here you find your tab in order to make your reports. And you can add multiple criteria in order to have a very, very fine-tuning report. So once you have done that, you have just to click on do you want what kind of statistic you want. So let's say I want all the stats. What the report configuration, it is a daily, weekly, monthly, it's always the same. Enable the forecast, report options. So this is in order to see if the statistics are very, very huge. Do you want to enable the sending and so on? And of course, then you have all the options like send report by email, FTP, local folder. So it's always the same. And you can, of course, customize through PDF, via PDF. So this is so we have seen the main part of the main features of the statistic reporting in GSX Analyzer. So of course, the first one was to see the statistics and to be able to categorize your user in any groups you want, depending on the NAP field, in order to see stats, for example, in Excel and report in table, or to automatically make reports that you can, so on two different big things. The first one is to compare different NAP fields, so for example, different location, different department, and to cross the different field in order to have very fine-tuning. And of course, to make, as we have seen here, to make automatic reports in PDF that will go in your email or in the folder you want, etc., etc. So if we come back to the presentation, so what we have seen, to sum up everything, we have seen that GSX usage metric offer really a total flexibility on the way you want to import and categorize a user, and of course as well on the way you want to report on the different user. And again, most of the other tools, they force you to import all of your company, even if you want to report on only a part of it. So in GSX usage metric, you really choose the part of the population you want to track. So the word again of the tool is really the flexibility in the scope of user and in how you want to report. And of course, the last point is, of course, the SQL database. It is a big thing that you are used with GSX Monitor Analyzer. You are used to our Firebird database that we have used for many years. And in usage metric, it's now a normal SQL database. So the good things with that is that the SQL database, it's a normal one, and other tools would be able to pick up some information inside the usage metric SQL if you want. So it is a big change for GSX suite, and but it can be a very good improvement, and it can give a lot of additional features later. So the usage metric benefits. So first, no code on server. So again, still our philosophy. You just install usage metric on a virtual machine, and then GSX usage metric will synchronize with the NAB, and then we'll go and see the log tracking, and then we'll connect on the different mailbox server in order to retrieve the size of the mailbox. In terms of ID, as we don't go inside each mailbox, you don't have to, GSX usage metric don't need a full mailbox access ID. We just need to be able to go on the mailbox server in order to retrieve the information about the size of the different mailbox. So the first one is no code on server. The second one is that GSX usage metric is really an easy solution to detect underused mail accounts, as you will see really who is using what, and of course to detect inactive user. If you are preparing a migration to smart cloud, or if you want to optimize your environment and so on, here it will really give you the list on how your messaging environment is used, department by department, job by job, etc., etc. Another one is for you to be able to provide a self-service reporting tool. The thing is that you maybe don't need to do the reporting yourself. If someone else of the company or even in the IT management wants to see a report on how the messaging environment is used, with the flexibility of usage metric module and the flexibility of Analyzer, you can really give an access to the reporting to Analyzer only on the statistics he wants, in order for this person to be able to compare different locations and so on and so on. So it's the master word again is flexibility. And of course, so you will be able to analyze and compare the usage of your messaging environment at the NAB field level, so department, location, etc., etc. So remember last slide to remember you that GSX usage metric is part of GSX Monitor and Analyzer. So now this is really a global suite that covers a lot of the different challenges you have. It manages the performance and usage of the email delivery at the user, at the group of users, at the server, and at the cluster, and at the end at the service level. So it's really an end-to-end solution to measure, alert, and report on usage and performance of the messaging environment. If we focus on the email performance, you have different. There is the big rain here. So You have different features, like, of course, the mail routing to check the performance, the statistics of usage and performance at the server and user level. And you have, of course, the management of the pending and dead mail. You have the easy report and alert on the quota of your messaging, of your mail, all your mailboxes. You have the detection of orphan mailbox, of course, in GSX Monitor. And you have the features for BlackBerry, you have the features for Traveler, and so on and so on. So the suite GSX Monitor and Analyzer and Usage Metric is really dealing with a lot of challenge that you have to face. So last point again on the special offer. So 500 users free for installation before the end of March 2013. So maybe if you have any question, I'm sure you do. I'm here, of course, to answer some of your questions.
Yes, actually, we had quite a few questions. I'm not sure we will be able to answer all of these, but we will make sure that you have an answer in your email if we don't have the time. Okay, Jeff, the first question would be, can you show again how statistics from usage metrics will show up in my analyzer?
So very quickly, again in Analyzer, so actually, what would be the best way would be to do that, doing directly in report. So station, okay, for example, department, equal, okay, next. So in Analyzer, you need to understand that you have two things. First, you have the type of statistics you want, so number of email sent, number of email received, the size of the email sent, the size of the email received, and the total mailbox size, okay? And of course, we will add the inactive user. So this is the type of statistics for the moment that you have in Analyzer. As I told you at the beginning, it's a V1. We will add a large number of other statistics in the next months. So you have this type of stats, and then you cross this type of stat with all the tag that you have selected into usage metrics. So when you add your user, you select the different tags you want into the NAB, and then you can cross the statistics with any NAB field you want to use to make the reporting on your user. Okay?
Thank you. Next question. Instead of user report, can I get report at the mail server level or at the group of mail server?
At the mail server level, yes. It's simply when you go, for example, in Analyzer, so you have two different things, usage metric, server statistics. So if we go directly at the mail server level, we can so let's do that here. Server stats, you click here, then let's say create new, and then you will choose your mail server, for example, and you will get the mail flow for each of your web server, of your mail server. You see Domino Mail, so you see the total message, the size of the message that are sent, received, number of mail delivered, average delivery time of the mail, etc., etc. So at the server level, we still have all of our statistics, and of course we have added the user level statistics. So yes, we have the stat at the server level, at the mailbox server level.
Brilliant. Next question. What about refreshing the results of my imports? Is it automatic as my human resources change permanently?
It's a good question, and that's why the synchronization here, you defined the refresh actually. Of course, you won't do that every 5 minutes, but the directory synchronization that will take see the information of your user and so on. So you defined how often you want to synchronize. It can be every hour, every day, every 2 days, etc., etc. And then GSX Monitor and Usage Metric will be able to always have the new information of your user. Okay, for example, you want to report on an organization and you have selected the sales people in this organization. So every day, GSX usage metric, we check on the NAB if there is new people or, for example, in the sales that are affected to the sales and in the NAB. And if they are new, it will add the new people. So you don't have to do anything. The synchronization is can be done every hour, every day, as you want, and will be always up to date.
Thank you. Are you planning to add the statistics for the mail attachments, like number, the format, the size as well?
So mail attachment, it's a tricky subtopic. The problem with the mail attachment that we have for the moment, but we are working on that because it's a very good question. The problem with the mail attachment is if you want to see in each mailbox what kind of email attachment and so on are sent, etc. If we go through the mailbox, we have to enter in the mailbox, and then we will require an ID that has full access. So we will check. We are checking other ways in order to get this statistics. But definitely, it's a good question. So we are working on it.
Great. Next question: is there a push feature planned to automatically forward the statistics into a billing system? Example: to support a pay-per-user billing model of the mail usage for central IT to internal, external customers.
The question is, in which format do you want it to push? So, for the moment, again, it is really a V1. What we will do is to give the opportunity to automatically push a CSV file, like in Analyzer. When you create that, as I show you just before, you can push a report. So let's go here. Okay, I have to do that again. Sorry for the delay. So department, documentation, for example. Next, let's select all. Next. So here the thing is that we will give the opportunity to automatically send a CSV file to an email, it's the next one. So by email, to an FTP server, or to a local folder. So first it will be on CSV. And then if there is a specific demand, we will have to check. So yes. So if I think that a lot of billing tools are working with CSV file as well. So if they are happy with the CSV file, it will be done. It is already down into Analyzer if you want to have the statistics by group of users, and if you want to have the statistics at an individual level, then we will do that into the V1.1 in a few weeks, and you will get this table. So with all the statistics at the user level, send automatically in CSV as well.
Thank you. Next one, can we retrieve all data into a BI solution, like business objects?
The thing is that, again, we are using a SQL database. So if your BI solution is able to connect on the SQL database, then you should be able to do that.
Okay. Thank you. Next question. Is it possible to have a different statistic for internal emails and mail sent to the internet?
Again, very good question. It is part of the next statistic that we will implement. We definitely want to do that. We know how to do that. It was just a problem of time. So don't worry, you will get the statistics in the next version. This is definitely on the roadmap.